Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Rise and Grind, where we learn a new skill every week. If you are new to the group or a guest today, welcome. I am Tanya Marie Figueres-Freisinger, otherwise known as Tanya MFK. I will be your host today, and we are going to go ahead and jump right into our Rise and Grind. Our focus today is copywriting for email. It is the last in our series, so I'm going to recap what we've done over the past couple weeks before we jump in. So the month of May has been email marketing. I have harped profusely over how important it is. There are so many myths and misconceptions about the use of email, and a lot of marketers and stuff out there will say, oh, email's dead, and these blatant statements. And the fact is, it's very much alive. It's very much effective. And in our first week, we even went over the statistics about why email marketing is just amazing. More engagement, higher conversions, more chance of actually being seen based upon, algorithms and social networks, all of these things. So if you missed it, go back to our other lessons. They'll be here as well, and you can catch up on what we talked about. But email marketing is very much alive, very much amazing. And we did talk about in lesson 1 why it matters, why it works, and different ways that you can use it. So the key takeaway that you'll notice me going over and over about in the last lessons is segmenting your list. I kind of got crazy about it, right? Segment your list. And what that means, right? So if you are building an email list, you are collecting email addresses from people who have raised their hand and said, yes, me, I'm interested in your product or service. When you get those, you need to segment them in your email system. Hopefully you are using an email marketing platform. Doing it by hand is not recommended. And again, if you go back to our old lessons, you'll see some of the recommendations I have for that. So going back, segmenting those. When you get those people in, you need to separate them for whatever makes sense for your business. Something could be as simple as men versus women. Why? Because we all receive messages differently. We have different motivations for the same item. One of the examples we used in our previous lessons was buying a sapphire necklace. A woman's reason for buying that necklace is going to vary greatly for a man's reason for buying that same necklace. They're both buying the necklace. They both have reasons, but they need to hear different messages about it because their motivations are different. So segmenting your list, again, whether it's male, female, it could be age groups, it could be based on their previous purchases, all different types of things. But the point is you need to segment it so you can have a message that's unique to them, makes sense to them, resonates with them, so they're more likely to understand the benefits of your product for them, which then leads to the purchase, right? That's all what we really are looking for in the end. So again, segmenting your list, and we can see here on the slide, fine-tune your message to the audience, one benefit. You're talking about what they care about. You're not wasting their time. If I am, not interested in, let's see. Let's go about motivation, right? So if motivation, you're talking to a younger crowd and maybe it's about, a product that's hydrating and you're like, keep it, stuff hydrated for those wild nights out. Well, that's not really my lifestyle. That doesn't really work for me at my age with a toddler, right? So your message is kind of falling on deaf ears. So if you were to segment that and make sure that you're saying one message to your younger audience and a different one to your older audience, then you're going to be able to convince me why your hydration product is useful for me and my lifestyle. So don't waste people's time, and you won't waste their time if you're segmenting their list. Also, it's going to increase your sales and conversions. So that one's obvious, right? So that's what we talked about in our first kind of lesson. That was just email basics, just kind of a general overview, and that was the key takeaway. Continuing on, our second lesson really focused on email content. So after I went on and on about why it's so important, I then went and said, hey, this is what you're going to put inside that email. You've got to figure out what kind of stuff should I be sending? What goes in there, right? So we did cover not just random fluff. Just because people say you need to give out content doesn't mean anything works. It doesn't mean that I want to see, Macy's sending me kitten videos. Now I like kitten videos, and let's say I like Macy's. I don't live where there's a Macy's, so, but I don't need them sending me kitten videos. There's no relevance. There's no point. There's no value there, right? It doesn't make sense. So you want to make sure that you are sending content that adds value based on what you do, that connects to your brand and your product or service. You also don't want to just send sales stuff, right? If you're only showing up in their inbox when you're trying to sell something, you are that friend. And you know who I'm talking about. You all have one of those friends, right? The one that you're like, why'd they message me? Oh, I see. Everyone else canceled on them. Now they want to hang out, right? So don't be that person. Don't be that person in the email. Don't put that person in their inbox that as soon as they see it, they're going to be like, oh yeah, sale. They must have a sale, right? Because it's the only time they show up. Because then they know if they're not in, they've already predetermined whether or not they're interested. And they're like, nah, I don't need that new jacket right now. I don't need whatever it is that and maybe you have something amazing. Maybe it was an awesome sale that they haven't seen before, but they've already pre-qualified it and they've already dismissed it because it's the only time you show up and they've checked themselves and said, yeah, I'm not in a position to purchase something right now, and I'm gone. So you didn't have a chance to use your amazing persuasion, right? So don't just send sales stuff all the time. And we also talked about email dating before marriage, right? And in general, this is a rule across the board, right? When you are working with your lead or client, customer, anything, you need to date them. You need to do small little things before you walk up and say, hey, want to get married? Like, if you just stand in the middle of the street just asking people to buy your product, your chances are going to be very small of making that sale. Now, you may make your sale. That's amazing. That's awesome. But it's still probably not as much as you can make if you spent your time that day getting to know people. And then after that, you came back and showed them the product. And we're like, oh, hey, check this out. It's just a thing. No big deal, right? And then maybe after that, you're like, oh, this thing's so awesome. I saved so much time by using my widget bajidget. And then maybe then you can come in and say, it is super awesome. We've been talking about it for a while. Are you interested in buying one? So, we've worked up to it. We took them down a journey, down a path, right? Before we just jumped right in and said, hey, what's up? Want to get married? Like, worst pickup line ever. Worst. So the main takeaway from our content lesson was inside those emails, have a call to action, okay? Make sure that when you're writing those emails and you're sending this content, that they do have a purpose. So if it is just a value-based type of email, still make sure that you give them, like, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to sign up for something? Did you want them to download these 10 awesome tips that you sent? Do you want them to follow you on a new social network? Whatever that may be, make sure you have a call to action and that it's clear. This isn't just for you, but it's not just for them, it's also for you, right? So you need to both know, like, what's the purpose of this email, right? And another is making sure that all these emails are adding value. Like I've said it a few times already. I went big on it in the last lessons. Value, value, value. I'm going to just let that sink in. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Value. That tea was valuable. It gave me a breath and you a break too, right? Again, value gives them a reason to open your email. They gain a benefit from you emailing them. They start to associate that when I get an email from these people, I get something great usually. I love their emails, right? I have a few senders whose emails I see and I am immediately excited. Yes, it can happen. I'm immediately excited when I see them. Hashtag Benjamin Hardy. He's a writer and I love his stuff. When I see an email from him, I immediately get excited. I'm like, oh, it's going to be something good in there. I'm going to be inspired. It's going to be awesome. I love it, right? Be that person, not the jerk who just shows up for sales. And the next statement there is Why are you adding value? Because you're not a selfish jerk and you care about your customers. And here's the thing, guys, bottom line, all these marketing tips and tactics and hacks and all this stuff that you can learn from myself or others or tons of Googling, however you choose to go about it, none of them will matter if deep down you don't give a crap about your audience. If you don't give a shit about your customers, your clients, you have a passion for what you're doing, none of this matters. If you're just here to make a quick buck, it might work for a little bit, but it's going to fall apart because we're going to see through it. They're all going to see through it. And it shows, when you care and people are really gaining stuff, like you're going to go and go big. But if you don't and you're just a selfish jerk, it doesn't matter what you learn, it's going to fall apart. So don't be a selfish jerk, right? So now that we've covered what we did through May, let's jump into why we're here today. Copywriting for email. What the hell is copywriting, right? Copywriting is any writing that you use to communicate with your audience. So that's your emails, clearly. That's your Facebook post, your Instagram posts. It's all that stuff on your website. Hopefully not too much, but to be honest, all that stuff on your website. All of that's copywriting. All the stuff that you use to communicate. And sadly, so many people just kind of, well, let's just be honest, they go about it the wrong way. They just write a bunch of stuff or they try to fit in every single detail. There's so many different things that are done wrong and it just becomes fluff. It just becomes pointless. It's just that. And it is the stuff people start to skim over, which makes us start to believe that people don't read, but that's not true. Books are still being sold. Kindle's a thing, right? People are reading. It just has to be interesting. It has to be worth it. It has to create an emotion. It has to give something, right? So copywriting, that's what it is. If you weren't sure, but I think you are, that's why you're here. So the joys of good copywriting. What's so great about it? When done right, it can be extremely effective. Right? We just said, like, creating that emotion, calls to action, all of those things. They're going to open their email. When it's done right, you open the email. You're like, ooh, what is that? I'm curious. I'm excited. I'm whatever, something. Action, and that leads to action, right? So it creates action, copywriting. Even a good, quick couple sentences can make you like get up and be like, oh, I am going to go work out today. You're like, even if it lasts for a short moment, you could read something and when it's written right, you're just like, oh man, like you feel like you could take on the world, right? It'll get them engaged, right? Engaged just, they're paying attention. They're replying or they're sharing and they're doing things, right? Like they're in it. They're like, yeah, I'm here. Like, ooh, me and you, right? And it's relevant. When it's done right, it's relevant, and relevancy goes a long way, as we've been talking about. So you'll see some examples here. Really simple, easy copywriting here. I love it. The square, the little yellow square that you see here on the screen is soap. It says, get your filthy hands on me, right? Clever, fun, kind of, piques the interest, but it's soap, right? Like get your mind out of the gutter. Soap. Clever, it's great, it's simple, but it's clear, right? I get it, like, oh, filthy hands, soap, oh, connection, got it, right? The other one I love too, which is a little kind of fun as well, it's like mom used to make just before she was arrested, and it's for a hard cider. This is another one that kind of like, throws you off, goes like, whoa, what are they talking about? Piques the interest, and it shows their brand voice, right? It shows that they're a little edgy, a little off the cuff, something there. So this, are some of the fun things. Copywriting can be fun when executed correctly, right? So what we're really saying, though, after all those joys, is that it means sales, conversions, followers, whatever that means to you, whatever that goal is, that's what it does. When it's done right, yes, these words can actually lead to sales, conversions, followers. Like, that's how important they are. We think it's how many posts we do or how many, God, I don't know what else we're doing. I don't know what we're doing that we're not focusing on copywriting, because this is where so much of it is. Even if you're doing video, you have to write an introduction. What is this video about? You know, if it's like email copywriting, I'm not, it's not that exciting, right? If I was like, make more money, I mean, maybe that sounds a little cheesy, but you know, it's something that was just like more exciting, like, oh, the one thing that makes a huge difference in your business, watch now. You'd be like, oh, what is that one thing? Oh, I need to know, right? That's way more interesting than like email copywriting for business. Like, no one, it's true. You're right, it's true, but it's boring and it doesn't get anyone excited. Okay? So it does mean sales. It does mean conversion. It's that important. Okay? So hold on. When you do it right, people understand your product or service. They're not guessing. They're not like, what is it again? What does it do? It's really clear, right? People know that the product or service is relevant to them. Oh yeah. Oh, I get it. That's for me. I'm that person. Oh, okay. Totally relevant. That's what I need. You know, if it was like, hey, grab this, you know, great backpack. It's for moms of toddlers. And you're like, oh, that's me. That's relevant to me. I'm a mom with a toddler. Oh, they must have segmented their list. People are clear about the benefits they gain, right? Get this backpack and your child will behave better. Oh my God, I need 10 of those. I'm a mom of a toddler and I want that benefit. Boom. And then people will purchase your product or service. Put me down for like 3, just in case we lose one, right? Or 2. So get one for grandma. Everyone in the family needs one for the toddler. So this is what happens when it's done right. So where do we start? Where do we start? You know, I'm like, God, I'm not a novelist. Like, I didn't go to school for this. You're right. You're right. Welcome to being an entrepreneur. You got to learn all kinds of stuff before you can hire other people to do it, right? So where do you start? First of all, keep it easy. Keep it conversational. That's the nice thing. Like, you can let go of all that, like, at least for me, total anxiety, like when it came to writing. Like, hate me if you want to. I was a straight A student, okay? But I hated writing. Like, I was the stare at the blank page, like total last minute writer. I could not get it started. And all the rules and the this and like, oh, don't start words with and all of that was just like, oh, I just want to talk. If I could just talk, go figure it. If I could just talk, then I'd be fine, right? I'd be okay. Fortunately, when you're writing, especially for email, guys, and honestly, it's just for a lot of your copy, keep it conversational. There's a reason for that, because this is the voice of you. And a lot of times you are your product or service, right? A lot of times you may be the person. We need to know you. We need to hear you. What's uniquely your style, right? Or your brand voice, okay? So your brand, maybe you do have something like that's a little different and it has a brand voice. You know, you could even be a store. Coca-Cola has a brand voice. You know, all of those things, they are unique to them. The hotels.com, right? The Captain Obvious. Okay, they're like a little sarcastic, little edgy, right? That's a brand voice. If they came out like really super stuffy with a commercial like, hello, luxury hotels, hotels.com, we're amazing. Well, okay, well maybe if they said it like that, it'd be their brand voice. But, you know, if it was like real, you know, kind of stuffy or like, oh, that's not really what I'm used to hearing from them. I'm used to this kind of sarcastic, more style, right? That's your brand voice. And so that may not be your voice. Maybe you are like very reserved, but your brand can be sassy. Whoever voice it is, use it. Don't use this generic business voice, which is, my best example I usually give is like the interview voice, right? So you'll be like talking, your friend calls you right before an interview and you're like, what's up? I'm about to go to an interview. Oh man, I don't know. I hope I don't screw it up. Boo, 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 right? Then you get off the phone and then you're like, yes, hello. I worked there for 377 days. I managed 14 people underneath my, you know, reign. I mean, you start using words you don't normally use in conversation. It's not you, right? Because you're trying to put your best foot forward. And sadly, I guess in interviews, your best foot isn't always you. And you know, they're bound to find out anyway. And they end up loving you. And that's why you're still probably employed, okay? But the thing is, you know, that voice before, the one on the phone that talked to their friend and was like, I don't know, I don't want to screw it up. That's the voice. That's what we need, okay? So be you, be conversational. And another quick tip, easy tip, like when in doubt, if you're like, I don't know if I'm sounding, you know, right, use contractions. So we have some up there, like the basic things. Don't worry if you don't remember what contractions are. You use them all the time. And it's like don't instead of do not, you'll instead of you will, weren't instead of were not. It's a simple way to keep you from sounding robotic, right? So that's it. When in doubt, like if you're looking at all the stuff you wrote and you're like, oh, I do not know if you will like this, so I don't know if you'll like it, right? So, just that alone keeps it a little more conversational, okay? So when in doubt, that's stick with contractions. So the next thing on where to start, be clear, right? I struggle with this sometimes because I'm a gabby one, right? Be clear. Don't try to be too clever, right? Tell your audience exactly what you want them to know. Wordplay, while creative, can lead to confusion. And you see this example here, right? Like, our efficient service leaves you feeling effective and effervescent. What? What does that mean? Is that what I want? Do I need to feel effective and effervescent? I don't know what it means, right? I don't necessarily know the benefit I'm going to gain from your product right now. What if this is house cleaning? Like, maybe I just want to feel like I have more time. Maybe I want to enjoy a clean kitchen. Maybe I want to know where that lost stock is. Because if my house is clean, then I probably don't have a lost stock, right? Because we found it. So that's what I want. Like, that's the benefits there. I don't know what it is. It sounds cute, but it does nothing. It does nothing but confuse me and make me, I don't know, just not understand. Right? Okay. So be clear. Clear. That's real simple. That takes the burden off of you to like sound, it's all that stuff, right? Clever, cute, make it a riddle. Oh, entertain. Yes, there's a place for entertainment. But again, when in doubt, if you're just starting out, just be clear. Just be clear. We clean houses and we give you a clean house and you're going to feel good because you're going to know where all your stuff is. Boom. I'm going to start a cleaning service just so I can write copy for it. So now that you have those rules in mind, right? So we kind of gave you a little basic where to start, okay? Mentally where to start. So your first focus, now we're going to write an email, right? Your first focus is that subject headline. Okay? That subject headline is mega important. You are fighting for the attention in an email inbox of God knows how many, right? Like I get a couple hundred emails a day. I've seen, I saw somebody's phone once. I just pulled this up, right? I saw somebody's phone once and it had like I have an iPhone, right? So it's the unread emails. I swear to God, it had like 10,000 or something. I almost had a heart attack. Like I do try to get to like close to, I'm at email like inbox zero as they call it, at least once during the week, right? I'm pretty kind of crazy about that. So I was like hyperventilating just seeing that. Like 10,000 emails, my God. Okay. So how are you going to get attention in there? That's a lot of competition, right? So you need to make sure that the value is clear. We're going to jump into that. So the point is, before I jump into that, is that if it's not good and you don't pay attention to this part of the email, they don't even open it. And if they don't open it, they don't know how awesome the rest of your stuff is. Okay? So make sure that we're really giving this proper attention. And the first thing is to try to keep it actionable, right? So like download our new guide. Then you're like, oh, there's a new guide. Or get these free tips. Oh, there's some free tips. I can get some free tips if I open this email. Or, reserve your table for Mother's Day brunch. Like, ooh, I should reserve a table. Again, actionable. You like say, okay, I get it. I should do something. And these types of actions that I'm mentioning, I was going to say, these types of actions that I'm mentioning also give them a glimpse of the value that's going to be inside that email, right? We're going to go into that in a second. Here's another way. If it doesn't have a verb, like you don't say download, take, reserve, you can do it like this, right? Don't miss Erykah Badu at the Greek Theater versus buy tickets to see Erykah Badu at the Greek Theater. Yes, buy tickets is actionable, but it's not, it gives a different like view than the don't miss Erykah Badu. That gives, that feeds into that FOMO, right? Like fear of missing out. Oh my God, I don't want to miss it. Like buy tickets, you might look at that and go like, I can't buy tickets. I don't have money right now. And you're like, don't miss it. Like, oh, I don't want to miss it. I don't. Like, I'll be honest, she's in concert right now, and I kind of like Erykah Badu, and I don't want to miss it, but I don't know. I don't think she's coming to my country. So I'm going to miss it. So that would just make me feel really bad. But then maybe I'll pay attention more. So anyways, that's a way that you can create an action without using a verb, just an example. So what it comes down to is using language that makes it clear to the recipient what they can do with the information in the email, right? What can I do with it if I open it? In other words, keep the value of the user top of mind. Like we said, show the value. What do they get from it? Value, always. I don't know how much more I can go into that, but value. Like, everything you do should always be adding value. This goes back to that, like, because you're not a jerk thing and you care about your customers. Add value, bring value, make their lives better, because then when it comes time for when they need your product or service, you're going to be the only person they think about, because they know you, like you, trust you, and you've added value to their life. Okay? It's like a friend. So after the subject comes the email body. So make sure your email subject matches the email content. And this is a simple one, and I'm sure none of you guys are going to be those people, but don't be clickbaity, don't be a jerk, don't be the one that says one thing and then it's totally different on the inside. Like, it's annoying. You know, most of us, email isn't new, so a lot of us have seen the tricks, seen the stuff, and most people fortunately have moved away from it. So if you jump in with that, it's just going to piss them off. It would piss me off, and it's a jerky thing to do. Make sure whatever you're talking about on the top matches the inside, okay? And when in doubt, just tell them why you're writing them. So in your email, if you're like, okay, so how do I start this? Dear sir, madam? No. Unless that's not really how you talk. Just write, hi, I'm writing you because, just tell them. That's the easiest thing. When in doubt, just start there. Just start there. So, hi Tammy, we're writing you because we noticed you bought a sweater last week, and we want you to know that we are having a 50% off sweater sale today, right? There's something a little nicer and personal than just like 50% off sweater sale, blah, like giant. Like, there's a lot to be said back and forth, but I'm telling you, something as simple as that can be so effective, okay? Plus Tammy would be like, whoa, they're watching me, they know what I bought. So start simple. If you're staring at a blank page, like I said, just start writing. Even if you write, like, hi Tammy, do. And then you can look at it and go like, oh, maybe it's like better to say, we noticed you got a rockin' sweater. Maybe I should say, hey, Tammy gal. I don't know. The point is now you can edit in the awesome. I love my little Superman guy right there. It's like, oh, like, he's like right into the sentence, right? Just edit in the awesome afterwards, because it's a lot easier to edit crap than a blank page. It's hard to edit blank. It's hard to fix nothing than it is to fix crap. That's okay. When you start in crap, you can make it better. When you start with nothing, you can't make better nothing. Still nothing. So just get started. I guarantee you will be able to make something awesome once you just get started. You just write something. Okay? Next thing is be brief. Just like those chonies right there, be brief. Don't try to fit every single detail in your email if it's not necessary. And rarely is it necessary. So many are like, well, I need to make sure they know this and they know that, and this might be important to them and that might be important to them. Again, this is why segmentation is so important. I got to make sure they know every benefit to doing this. No, you don't. For example, like if you're selling vacations, right? Sometimes just mentioning the country and what it is it a cruise or is this, is enough, to go like, hey, tickets to Cancun are $250, all inclusive, learn more here, click. Then they can go out of email, and you can now they're a little interested, right? That's the whole other thing about targeting, all this stuff. So many great things that are here that we can go into another time. But they go over here, and now you can start to give them all the other details and everything else. And now you have them in your own space. Maybe it's your website or something. It's somewhere that you now control the environment as opposed to the inbox, right? So, don't try to fit every detail. It's not necessary, right? And get to the point. What are you trying to do? Like, I'm really bad at that, right? But in email, I'm not. In email, I do get to the point. So get to the point. I like to talk, so I'm sorry, I go on a lot, guys. So have a call to action and finish your pitch off email, like we said, right? Or sale off of email. So we just but have a call to action. What's your point? Click here, learn more, view the deal. If you guys ever see those Amazon deals, it always says like kind of the general, like whatever it is, and it says view deal. You're like, oh, I'll view the deal. It doesn't say buy now. Notice that. It doesn't say buy now. You're like, crap, I don't even have enough info. And that's the point. They give you just enough, view the deal, and then they take me to Amazon. Now I'm in their world, and I'm seeing what the deal is. And hopefully they've convinced me by then, right? So be brief. Another thing, guys, and this is the golden rule, I think, in all things. This is even in your conversations about your business, everything, is to sell the benefits, not the features, right? You sell a good night's rest, good night's sleep, not the mattress. Nobody really cares about the mattress. They care about the end result. Nobody really cares about socks. No, you don't. Even if you think you do. You're like, oh my God, these socks are so cute. I love socks. No, you don't. You love cute ankles. You love cute feet because that's what they're giving you. It's not the socks. It's the style, right? Or maybe not. Maybe that's not your thing. But you want your feet to be warm. Okay, I like warm feet. When I got here, it was, oh God, it's like minus 12 or something. I cared about warm feet so much. I didn't care what they looked like, but if they kept my feet warm, I loved them. Cozy toes. Or maybe there's protection from gross shoes. You know, maybe you went bowling with some friends and you were wearing sandals when you got there. How much are those socks worth to you now? A lot, because there's some gross shoes, right? So that's what you're buying. That's what you're buying. And those are the benefits you need to speak to. You know, we as humans are very emotional beings and we purchase emotionally. So I want to feel cozy. I want to feel warm. I don't want to feel cold. I'll buy some socks. Yeah, I might even put them on my hands. I don't care. If I need to be warm, I don't care about your socks. I care about myself. And that's another hashtag truth right there for a lot of people and consumers. So another thing in your email, guys, is to clarify the obvious, right? You don't always have a lot of time to convince them. If you've gotten far enough that they've opened the email, right? So you did right with that subject headline. You did good. They clicked it. They opened it. They're like, this is awesome. Let's go back to that vacation deal, right? It was like $250 for tickets, you know, all inclusive. Okay, that means you save $1,000. Whoa, oh my God, this sounds even better now. Because even though it's obvious to you, it's not always obvious to them. So clarify the obvious. Even if it says $250, you know, was $1,250, you save $1,000. Oh crap, you're right, I do. Didn't even think about that, right? Because I'm in a hurry. I'm checking it on my phone. I'm in line at Starbucks. Clarify the obvious. This will do you good, okay? So we have some examples here. Get 2 tickets for the price of 1. Clarify the obvious. That means you can bring a friend for free. It's only 5 miles away. Clarify the obvious. You can get here faster than it takes to listen to your favorite song. Unless that song's Freebird. I mean, you know, that's the other thing. So 50% off. Clarify the obvious. That means you only pay $20 for this vacation. Oh crap. Now when you put it that way, and how many times have you said that to yourself or out loud or to a friend like, oh, when you put it that way, now I'm convinced. It's the same thing in your email, guys. Now that you put it that way, I'm ready to buy. Okay? So clarify the obvious. Clarify. And that's it, guys. Go forth and implement. These are your simple basics. Now, as you guys know, you know, we do a lot more in our groups. We have some way more in-depth courses and classes and stuff. These are, you know, our Rise and Grind series are always the kind of simple, quick, easy, you know, tasters to get in there. So, you know, if you're not already part of it, guys, if you are a guest today, join our Biz Builders group, our Facebook group. It's free and you get all this help, right? So again, you know, go forth and implement. Use these tactics today. You know, if maybe you're not engaged in an active email marketing campaign, which you should be, go back and listen to the other videos and you'll know why. But try them out in your work emails. You're going to see how more effective they are, especially when you're clear. You clarify the obvious. Like, hey, Joe, we need to meet next week. That means in 4 days, whatever that is. He might get back to you quicker, like you need it. Like, damn it, Joe. Whatever that is, try these out and see if you don't even notice a difference in something as simple as your day-to-day, work emails or emails to friends, right? And see the difference. And then test them out in your email marketing campaigns, which you should be doing and engaged in because they're amazing and helpful and all those things. So watch the results multiply when you do these things, right? So as we mentioned again, guys, join our Biz Builders private Facebook group. It is free, facebook.com/groups/wearebizbuilders. And that's what we're doing. We do live stuff all the time. I'm always putting stuff in there. We have a great group of people and we're constantly growing and people are at all levels. Some are just starting to get their idea. Some are well into this business and looking to scale. Everyone's at different levels and you're getting amazing advice and encouragement and feedback from people in the same boat as you. So thanks for coming. Thanks so much for listening, rising and grinding, and can't wait to see you next week.